Good morning and welcome to Daily Red Devil for all of your latest Manchester United transfer news and talk. I hope everyone is doing well on this Thursday morning. We're back with another massive show to bring you guys today. But before we jump into that, please smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and let's get straight on into it. On the show this morning, we are going to be talking a bit about Mason Greenwood and reacting to some of the comments that our new Manchester United co-owner, Sir Jim Ratcliffe, made last night in his first interview. We'll also be talking a bit about Christian Eriksen, who apparently could be leaving the club in the summer, with apparently Ajax looking to secure his services. We'll also be reacting to an interview that Diogo Dalot has done, talking a little bit about a massive injury blow for Luke Shaw, and also talking a little bit about Saturday's game against Fulham. As always, guys, I invite you to get involved in the comments section. Let me know your thoughts on everything we discuss on today's show. Right, let's start off with the story about Luke Shaw then. So this broke late last night. 2 or 3 different journalists are reporting it, and then also Manchester United have come out and reported it as well. So it says, bad news for Manchester United as Luke Shaw will be absent for at least a few months with a muscular injury the club can confirm. So massive blow for Man United. Luke Shaw's literally only just come back into the squad. I think he's been back for maybe 3 or 4 games, is it? Let me have a quick look. But it's a huge blow. It really is. So let's have a look. So he's been here for the Wolves game, the West Ham game, and the Aston Villa game, and the Luton game. Although he went off at half-time against Aston Villa and at half-time against Luton. So he's only actually played 2 full 90-minute games in a long time. Massive blow for Man United. Obviously, Malacia seems to have disappeared off the face of the earth. I don't know where Malacia is. Nobody seems to know. I mean, there's people on Twitter saying that they think he had surgery and the surgery was done badly. There's all these conspiracy theories forming because nobody has seen him. He's not in training. I think there's been a couple of pictures of him floating around of him going out for lunch or something. But other than that, there's nothing. Erik ten Hag tells us nothing. So we've got no Luke Shaw, no Malacia. We have no left back. Now, I've been thinking about what Man United will have to do here because our options are limited, aren't they? You know, we don't have a left back. Obviously, we sent Reguilon back to Tottenham. We sold Alvaro Fernandez to Benfica. Brandon Williams is on loan at Ipswich. And from what I've seen, we can't just bring people back at this stage. I was looking into it last night trying to understand how it all works. But apparently we can't just recall these players, which is really frustrating because, like, you look at Alvaro Fernandez, okay? I'm not saying he's good enough to start every single week for Man United. But at the same time, we've loaned him out when we have no left-back options, okay? And so far, for Benfica, he's only played 27 minutes worth of football. I mean, that's terrible, isn't it? So far this season, he's played 27 minutes and we don't have a left back. Like, we've really messed ourselves over there. There is one option, though, which we can look at, which I think is probably... Well, I mean, there's 2 options, actually, and I want to get you guys' opinions on this. So option 1 is you put Anthony at left back. And people are probably saying, what the hell are you talking about? Have you not woken up properly yet? Well, I actually think Anthony is better defensively than he is going forward. I think he works hard, he tracks back, he can tackle, he's quick, he seems to know how to defend. He's never going to play in the right wing position whilst Garnacho and Rashford are playing. Why not play him at left back? Give him a try there. Obviously, he's left-footed as well, so if he's running down the left wing, putting balls in on his left foot, I think it could work quite well. I genuinely do. So that's one option, is you try Anthony at left back. I mean, obviously it's not ideal, but we are where we are. The other option is this. Willy Campoala, who is obviously the 19-year-old French centre-back who's just come through the youth academy, he can play as a right-back, apparently. It's not his preferred position, but apparently he has played there at youth level. So you could put Willy Campoala at right back and then put Diogo Dalot as the left back. Obviously, Diogo Dalot can play left back or right back, so he's quite versatile and useful. Wan-Bissaka's obviously still injured as well. He's going to be out for, I think, about another month. So these are the only options we really have. I don't want to see Lindelof at left back. It doesn't work. He's not very good there. And I don't really want to see Amrabat at left back, but I guess that could be an option. I just think it really limits us going forward because, you know, if you put Anthony there, he could do really well going forward, I think, Anthony. Like, he could proper bomb up those wings and you have those kind of almost inverted fullbacks. And I think it could actually work quite well. The third and final option is that we play a back 3. So you do 3 centre-backs. or a back five, effectively. You have three centre-backs, so that could be Maguire, Varane and Johnny Evans, I guess, as a back three. And then you have maybe Anthony and Diogo Dalot as kind of inverted fullbacks. So you'd kind of play like a 5-3-2, I guess. 5-3-2? Let's have a look. Let me see if that's what I'm thinking of here. Yeah, 5-3-2. So you'd have three centre-backs, a left wing-back, a right wing-back. So that could be Dalot and Anthony, I guess. Then you could have centre midfield. You could have Casemiro, Bruno, and Kobe Mainoo. And then up front, you could have Rashford and Højlund, something like that. Like that could work. Obviously, that would mean that Garnacho would have to drop to the bench. But that's pretty much the only other option. Or you could play like, I think a 5-3-2 would probably be sensible, you know, so you'd have those inverted fullbacks who run up and down the wings, and that could work quite well. But let me know what you guys think. Obviously, it's a really, really big blow for Man United. People in the chat are saying, what about Harry Amas? The thing is, right, I would love to see this Harry Amas get some game time. I think, you know, from what I've seen of him at youth level, he looks good. But the fact that he hasn't been given an opportunity yet, and the fact that we're seeing Lindelof at left back instead, I think that kind of sums it up for me. The guy's only 16 years of age. I know people will say, oh, well, if they're good enough, it doesn't matter how old they are. But 16, like, that is very, very young. It could work. But I just think at this point of the season where we have to win every single game, is putting Harry Amas, a 16-year-old, at left back going to be the best option for his development, you know? Is it us being selfish? Is it us being like, doing what we need opposed to what the player needs? I mean, he might come in, it might work, and we might all sat here saying, great, we've got a new left back, we never need to buy a left back again. Maybe that could happen, but he might come in, have an absolute stinker, and then that will be the end of his probably Man United career, you know? So for me personally, I would go with Anthony at left back. I think Anthony, we've spent 100 million euros on him, or 95 million euros, whatever it is. I think we need to give it a try. Like, Lindelof at left back doesn't work for me at all. He doesn't look confident there. I think Anthony at left back would be my preferred option. I genuinely do. I think that means you get to stick with your same formation. It means that you keep Dalot on his preferred right hand side. You keep you keep Varane and Maguire as the centre back partnership. The rest of the team stays the same. The only thing that changes is that Anthony goes in at left back instead of Luke Shaw. And say you put him on for 20 minutes and it doesn't work, then you can just put Lindelof on there instead if that happens. But I think unless we try it, we're never going to see. Yeah, but let me know what you guys think about that one. Like, so Chris says, I'm going to let the manager figure it out. I mean, yeah, obviously that's fine. But the whole point of shows and channels like this is to have conversation, isn't it? And we're having that conversation. You know, we let the manager figure out that sending Reguilon back to Tottenham was a good idea. We let the manager figure out that sending Alvaro Fernandez to Benfica on loan was a good idea. We let the manager figure out that keeping two injury-prone left-backs as our only left-back options was a good idea. So I think it's fair enough for us to, you know, discuss what we would do in that position and kind of look through all of the different options. And that's what we've done, you know. So the options are either Anthony at left-back, option one. Option two is obviously Lindelof at left-back. Option three, you put Willy Camboada at right-back and put Dalot at left-back. Or option four is you do like a 5-3-2. Darren says, but Rooney was 16. I mean, let's be honest, mate. Is Harry Amas really the level of Wayne Rooney? Like, come on. Like, he clearly isn't. I get your point, right? If they're good enough, it doesn't matter what their age is. But the fact that Harry Amas hasn't appeared at all in the team this season, when Malacia's been out all season, Luke Shaw's been out for most of the season, Wan-Bissaka's been out for most of the season. Like, we've had one fit fullback all year, and we've not seen Harry Amas once. So he can't be ready to be in that team. Why would Erik ten Hag not bring him into the team if he wasn't ready? He brought Kobe Mainoo in. He's made Garnacho a starter. He clearly does prioritise youth. So I don't know. Maybe we will see Harry Amas. Maybe on Saturday we will see him. And if we do, he'll have my full support. I'll be, hoping he goes out and performs. But I just don't know whether that's the best thing. But obviously it's not obviously up for me or you to decide. Remo says being a forward is easier than a fullback. Yeah, I agree. And Remo also says, I think Harry Amas is too young at the moment. Yeah, 16, that's young. Somebody in the chat saying, what about Wayne Rooney? Like, Wayne Rooney was a generational talent. Are we really saying this Harry Amas guy, who probably 99% of us have never even seen play football, is on the level? Yeah. Darren says, but you don't know until you try. Yeah, you're 100% right, mate, 100%. But the point I'm trying to make here is, right, he's 16 years of age. he's doing really, really well at under 18s level, okay? The difference between under 18s level and the Premier League is like day and night. So he might be developing really well in the under 18s. You know, he might look like the best player alongside other 15, 16-year-olds. You bring him into the first team in a must-win game against Fulham on Saturday. He has a stinker, and then I'm telling you, you'll probably never see or hear of him again, because that will be his opportunity to the first team taken, you know? Obviously, on the flip side, he might come in and be world-class, and he might start every single game for the next 10 years. But I think that's a massive risk, and I think that, you know, the club are trying to bring people through in the right way. You know, you think last season, Kobe Mainoo was training with the first team all last season and barely played any football at all. Whereas now he's a first team starter. And I think Erik ten Hag has been quite good at, you know, slowly bringing through these youth players and not throwing them in at the deep end. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about that. Right, let's talk a little bit about Mason Greenwood then quickly. So Jim Ratcliffe was asked last night in his interview with The Athletic what's going to happen with Mason Greenwood. So this is Jim Ratcliffe's words on Mason Greenwood. So I'll read it out to you and then we can all discuss it. He says, "We will make a decision and we will then justify it. He's a Manchester United footballer and we are in charge of football. So the answer is yes, we have to make decisions. It's quite clear we have to make a decision on Greenwood. There is no decision that has been made yet. He's on loan, obviously, but he's not the only one. We've got one or two footballers that we have to deal with and that we have to make decisions on. So we will do that, obviously talking about people like Sancho, Donny van der Beek, a couple of others." He then goes on to say, "The process will be this. Understand the facts and not fall into the hype." So obviously all of the social media hype. "Then we will try and come to a fair decision on the basis of the values which we believe. Is he a good guy or is he not a good guy? And answer the question, will he be able to play for Manchester United again? And do we feel comfortable with it? And would the fans be comfortable with it?" So it seems like Jim Ratcliffe is going to, you know, reevaluate this whole situation. And it seems that like the Mason Greenwood case is not fully closed and that there is still the opportunity for him to come back into the first team. Will that happen or not? We'll have to we'll have to wait and see what happens. But I think one side of the argument you could say, well, if he came out and said Mason Greenwood's never going to wear a Man United shirt again, that makes him effectively worth nothing because every other team in world football would know our position. Whereas if he comes out saying this, you know, saying we're not sure, we might keep him, we're going to work it out, then the likelihood is, you know, a Barcelona and Atletico Madrid, one of those sides in La Liga will probably approach Man United in the summer and say, we're interested in signing Mason Greenwood. And we could probably get a good amount of money for him, you know, maybe 50 million euros, something around that type of figure. Whereas if Jim Ratcliffe in his first ever interview with, you know, the UK press as the new United owner says, Mason Greenwood's got no future here, we want rid of him, then people are going to be offering probably like a couple of million to take him, aren't they? Because they'll know that we don't want him. So I think it was quite clever what he said. I don't think it means 100% he's going to be back in the team. But we'll wait and see what happens. Obviously, let me know what you guys think in the comments section. Would you have Mason Greenwood? Would you have Mason Greenwood back at Man United? Yes or no? Let me know your thoughts. Obviously, I know it's not a decision for us to make. It's always nice to see what other Man United fans would do. So yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Would you bring Mason Greenwood back to Manchester United? Somebody in the live chat is saying, Spurs have sold Reguilon. We either had to offer a better price or release him. Do some research. I mean, I'm literally looking on Transfer Market right now, my friend, and it says he's on loan until the end of the season at Brentford. And the loan will end on the 31st of June. Sorry, the 31st of May. So I'm not really too sure what you were talking about, mate. There was always an option in Reguilon's contract that he could decide whether he wanted to continue playing at Man United. And apparently he decided that he wasn't getting enough game time. Luke Shaw was going to come back and he made a mutual decision alongside Erik ten Hag that going back to Tottenham and going to another club on loan would be the best option for him. And you know what? I think that was the right decision for him, not for Manchester United, because he's gone to Brentford. And as far as I can see, he's starting every single game for Brentford now. So you have to look at it and think he made the right decision. You know, you have to. He's gone to Brentford. He played 79 minutes against City, 90 minutes against Wolves, 85 minutes against Liverpool, and 78 minutes against Man City again. So he's played pretty much the full 90 minutes for the last four games. For what are they called? For my brain's gone, for Brentford. Whereas at Man United, right, if you look through his minutes, he played 79 minutes against Burnley, 17 minutes against Man City, 10 minutes against Newcastle, 45 against Chelsea, and 90 against Bournemouth. Like, in the space of about 3 months, right? Sorry, in the space of about a week, 2 weeks, he's played more minutes at Brentford than he did for Man United in the whole time he was here across a 3-month period. So you can't really argue with that from his perspective. Obviously, from Man United's perspective, it was maybe a bit stupid to let him go. But that was his decision, that was his decision. Somebody in the comment section says, I would prefer to sell Rashford and keep Mason Greenwood. Fair enough. That's obviously your opinion. Somebody saying Anthony for left back was mentioned by someone earlier on. Yeah, I mean, I've been saying that Anthony should be played as a left back or a right back for months. I actually think he would be good there. I really, really do. I think he would be really effective there. I think he's defensively, I think Anthony is incredible. I think he works so hard. He tracks back. He's got that aggression. He's not scared of tackling. I genuinely think Anthony would be a really, really good defensive wing back, because he can go further up the pitch. And, if you put him in that left wing back position, he can use his left foot. On the right-hand side, he struggles because he has to cut inside to cross the ball. Whereas if you put him as a left back with the freedom to go up the pitch, knowing that you've got maybe 3 players hanging back, whether that's Casemiro, Maguire and Varane kind of all sitting back, and you're allowing Dalot and Anthony to kind of go forward like we have been doing, I think it would work. I really, really do. So I hope to see Anthony at left back on Saturday. That would be my preferred option. I think, give him a chance. We've invested all this money in him. We need to get something out of him. I think we need a new left back desperately. Luke Shaw, in my opinion, should be sold in the summer. I think he's injury prone. Malacia has disappeared off the face of the earth. So yeah, I really think give Anthony a try at left back. Give him maybe 3 or 4 games in that position. See what happens. If it works, great. We don't have to spend the money on a new left back. If it doesn't, then at least we've tried. Like, that would be my preference, because otherwise it's going to be Lindelof there, and I just don't want that to happen. Everyone who's just joined, by the way, please smash a like on the video. Let's try and see 100 likes on today's video. It doesn't cost you any money. Subscribe if you're new as well. Why not? Somebody says, whoever sent Alvaro Fernandez to Benfica is a criminal. It's not even hindsight, because Malacia was injured at that point and they know Luke Shaw's injury record. Yeah, I don't get it either, mate, to be honest. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And that's why I'm just hoping that on Saturday we see what the plan was. Because if it's going to be Lindelof at left back for the rest of the season, I don't think we'll get 5th or 4th, to be honest with you. I think Lindelof at left back looks terrible. Amrabat maybe could go there, but I just don't think Amrabat going forward offers much. And I think, at the moment, we're outscoring teams, aren't we? Really. We're not getting that many clean sheets. We've had a few, but our defence looks pretty shaky. So I think whoever's playing in that left back position needs to offer something going forward. I don't know. Obviously, Man City, it's a completely different beast, isn't it? They can put a centre-back at left-back and it's fine. But for Man United, we've already got a shaky defence. We've got a shaky goalkeeper. You put Lindelof at left-back and we look even more shaky than we did before. Stephanie says footballers should be able to play multiple positions. Yeah, I agree with you. Like, at the end of the day, guys, Anthony can't play very well at right wing, and that's his preferred position. So why not try him somewhere else? And let me know what you guys think about that. I'm going to wrap the video up here, guys. I will be back this evening at 6 o'clock, so make sure you're here for that. Have a great day, everybody. Please don't forget to like the video before you leave. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. This has been Daily Red Devil, and I'll speak to you all a bit later.